Hello everybody, trying to do a honing video. This is a new stone I got. It's this stone, 5000 grit stone, specialty stone from Naniva. This is a new 5000 grit stone I bought. I don't know if you can see the markings there. It doesn't matter. It's a little bit thicker. I have used it once before. It's a really nice stone to use. So I'm going to use this stone, and then I'm going to use this 8000 grit stone, specialty stone from Naniva. This one too looks like this, the yellow one. I think you have seen it before. And then I'm going to finish with my Gina natural stone from Japan. Will like it very much, with two different kinds of slurs. A razor today I'm going to hone up is razor I bought in here in Sweden for 30 bucks. It's a Sheffield Bengall razor, 5/8 I think it's, and it's a beautiful razor. There is hone scales on it, hollow grind, extra hollow grind as it says, and I use tomatoes, as you know. To check I have looked at the edge with my loop first. There is no cracks or so, but there is no, as you can see, it cuts if you push. So we have to put the bevel on first, and I do it with this 5000 grit stone because I think this is a stone that is enough roughness to do it. I don't think we have to do any geometry issues here, but I do about 10 strokes that way and do 10 strokes in this way, something like that. I don't know exactly how many strokes I do, but I use a little bit of pressure, not so much. This is a new stone. I've used it on, I think it's 2 razors, and I like it very much. Feels really great in my opinion. Always when you start to use a new stone, the feeling on the stone is different. Then I do some X strokes here. And now I'm going to take a peek. I got paper here with a loop, just to check how it looks. I have done these honing videos before, but I thought I could show you and talk one more time how I do. As you can see, this is razor I got from I bought. This is not a bad razor, it's a really nice razor. I just polish it up a little bit, and then I have taped the back spine because I don't want to have hone wear here. And we're going to check it with the tomato. As you can see, it starts to cut already. Just the weight of the razor. I hold it like this, and you see it cuts immediately. So this one goes really quick. There is no, as I told you, often no geometry issues with these razors. I bought this from a the Swedish wet shaving group, Water Sverige, and that person that sold this one is a owner too, and he says I can sell this one honed and ready to shave, but I said him send it as it is because I want to hone it up myself. I do some extra strokes here, as you know, so I didn't have to kill the edge before I knew that edge doesn't work. It was bad edge. Now I'm gonna take one more look with my tomato and see so I don't have done anything bad with that. As you can see, it cuts immediately. There is no issues with it now. So I think that's enough with that stone. As you can see, it works really fast, this stone. Not really fast, but if there is no big issues with the edge, you don't have to put several hours of honing on these stones or razors. there is, of course, if there is an issue with the edge, you have to maybe go down to 2000 grit stone or whatever it is and start from lower grit. But I don't have to do it with these stone razors, I know that. And then I'm gonna take a new paper here and rinse that off. Sorry if I'm a little bit weary head today. Like that. Then a new stone. I know that this edge works on the tomatoes. I kill it. I do it here. I have realized that I have damaged these corners. It doesn't matter. And then I'm going to check on the tomato. As you can see, if I push, of course it cuts a little bit, but now that edge is killed. So I know that this edge that I try to emerge from this stone, just going to put a little bit more water, is the edge from this stone and not from the 5000 grit stone. So this is the way I do it. And this tomato thing, as you see, I checked the bevel. Okay, sorry about that, I dropped the phone. Yeah, as I was trying to say, you see the bevel check or the edge check I do with the tomato, that's not my idea. I have learned it from Dr. Matt. He's a really good honer too. Look at his videos. I'm gonna link his channel to the description here, so you can go check them out. Probably you have done it. This checking with the tomato works really nice for me. Perfect thing. So thank you so much, Dr. Matt. Now I'm gonna do some X strokes here. And I'm using the whole stone right now. Sometimes, as I told you, I do these types of X strokes. So I use a smaller part of the stone. But I start with this and we shall see how it feels and looks. And I'm gonna check with the tomato first, and then gonna check with the loop. And you can see the edge is starting to emerge already. Now I'm gonna check with the loop. And what I'm looking after is, so I have polished it up all the way and there is no cracks or nothing else on the edge. So I can move on to my G-nuts. So my last video I did, I put actually a lot of time on that 8000 grit stone. Sometimes you don't have to do it, but you have to check the edge. I'm gonna work with a little bit more. Sometimes I have to work very much with it. Now I'm working with this part here, so I have not pressure, but I lean a little bit more, pivot a little bit. And then I'm gonna do some X strokes here. Then I think I'm finished. Yeah, sometimes you have to work a longer time with some stones, but you have to finish the strokes, or you have to finish with one stone before you can go over to another stone. So you don't think that this maybe works. It doesn't work. If you don't have finished with the 5000 grit stone, you need to work more with the 5000 grit stone. You can't correct with 8000 grit stone, then you have to hold it like for several hours, and that's not the point. So use the right stone to the right things, and I use that 5000 grit stone to set the bevel and correct some small issues if I have to, but I often use it just to put the bevel on and check that so the edge is right. As Anthony said in his last video, the most important thing is the bevel. If you don't have set the bevel right, there is no point going over to 8000 grit stone in my case, because you have to put the bevel or the edge right from the beginning. So this is polishing in this moment, a little bit honing, but almost polishing. And I don't use pressure, just guidance. I'm going to take a little more pick. I'm feeling that starts to grab on the stone. And that's something very difficult to explain to people. What do you mean with that? And grab is a feeling you feel when you get more resistant to the stone. It's not the stone that's grabbing or the razor that's grabbing, it's that you have a... Just a moment, I'm just going to check this. You feel some kind of resistance for when you start to hone. The razor glides easier on the stone, and when you have reached that point that the edge is smoother and flatter against this stone, you got some suction so that the edge or the razor sucks against the stone, and you got less friction, so it starts to feel like it's pulling or grabbing. That's how I can explain it. It's a difficult thing when you're not... This is not my modern language, mother tongue language, you know. I am from Sweden, so it's difficult for me to explain sometimes these things. So I hope you understand at least what I'm saying. Now I'm finished with this stone. Gonna pull out my beautiful, I'm just gonna take some water, my beautiful G-knot. Flip that and put, I think you're crooked, but I don't gonna correct it, but then the stones, the razor's gonna, the phone is gonna drop. So if you're crooked, then you're crooked. It's not my fault. I'm kidding. Now I'll take this slurry stone and build up a slurry, and this slurry stone doesn't take so long to actually build up a slurry. And always when you start honing, if you never have honed before, don't start with the razor like this. It's a razor from 1800, a really beautiful razor, a Bengall razor from Sheffield in England. If you want to learn to hone, start with another bad gold dollar razor or razor that you think don't mind if it gets ruined. This is something you have to practice and learn. It's not difficult. It's not that what I'm saying. I say just don't destroy old nice vintage razors. Don't destroy new razors either. Start with a razor that's already is not so good and pretty, and start to use that razor to hone with and learn and see what happens when you get more and more efficient, or more and more experienced with this honing thing. Then you can start with other razors, and suddenly you do put $200 razor on the stones, and you think that that's no problem. But don't start with, it's up to you, but I didn't do it because I have some respect to old stuffs like razors and other things, old people and so on. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, if you're new to honing, start with a razor that you don't, if you ruined it, you ruin it. And what can happen, you send it away for honing to a professional honer like me. No, I'm not a professional honer. I learned this skill by myself, by looking at other YouTubers. I have ruined some razors, yes I have, but there were some razors that I could throw them away before I started. So I started with really bad razors. The first actually nice hone I did was with a gold dollar. By the way, I have to work with these gold dollar razors if there are new ones. If it's an older razor that someone else have used and have been worked with the bevel and so on, then you don't have to work so much with them. Gold dollar razors are really nice razors to use. I have 3 gold dollar razors. and I like them, every one of them. They shave really nice, holds an edge really nice. So because it's a gold razor for some bucks doesn't mean it's a bad razor. It's a really nice razor. And this razor, I bought it for 30 bucks, 300 Swedish crowns. Not much money in my opinion, because I know these razors shave really nice. I thought it was a beautiful razor, so I bought it. I don't know how many strokes I do. This is the not the funnest part when you hone. You have to talk all the time, because when you hone, you repeat the same thing over and over and over again. And the only thing I do right now, I do these X strokes, and I don't use pressure on the finishing stone. And after, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 strokes, I add more water to the slurry and dilate it. And this is just by feeling. The same thing as I told you at the 8,000 grit stone, when you start to feel the stone is pulling or dragging the razor to it, it means that you have two really plain surfaces that are working with each other. Then you have polished up that edge really nice. And when I do it myself, if I don't film it like I do right now, I listen to music, not so loud, because I want to hear the strokes, and you use your feelings on the fingers, your hand, your eyes, you look how the water displays over the edge and so on, and listen to it, how it feels. You maybe don't know, but if you listen, you can actually hear if you push or not, how much you push. I don't want to show it in this state. Then there is could be a ruined edge, I don't know. I don't want to do it right now, but actually if you want to test what I'm saying, if you have a razor, use it on, you're gonna put the bevel on it and use it 5,000 grit stone, or even 2,000 grit stone, or 3, or whatever you want to use, 6 or whatever it is, 6,000 grit stone. Listen when you drag it over a stone, is slowly like this, and then do 3, 4, 5, 6 strokes. And I'm gonna change this. Sorry, I'll throw away these papers here. It doesn't look so nice. Take a new one, and then push it to the stone, the razor, not with all your force, but push it, and you feel that you're pushing the razor as rather hard to the stone. And listen if you can hear the different sound. I didn't do it in the beginning, but when you get more and more experienced, you can try that a couple of times. First, do some strokes as you do as normal, and listen and carefully, and you can almost hear where it's honing and so on. It's difficult to explain these things, but you can actually feel and hear how much you push to the stone with a razor. And then you push even harder, really hard, not with all your force, but really, actually really hard. You put some effort to it to really push it to the stone, and do some strokes and listen, and if you can hear some difference, and then you take the razor as light touch as possible. You almost lift the razor from the stone, and do some strokes. And if you do it with a 5,000 grit stone, or 2, 3, 4,000 grit stone, you can actually hear the difference, especially when you got the hollow ground razor. You can feel and you can hear the difference, how it's working with the stone, and that's something you can implement in your honing. Think of it. Think of the pressure. When people say don't push, you don't know. It looks the same, but there is some small things you can do yourself by listening, by feeling, and so on. And that's important to learn and practice and understand. Because if you can push really hard on the stone with your razor, and you know this is the maximum effort you can use before you cook in the razor, or before you think it's too much, and you can do it as light as possible, you almost no pressure at all, even you feel like you're even lifting the razor. You understand what I mean? If you can do these 2 strokes with heavy power and no power at all, then you can do all the other things between. But if you only can do very hard power and medium power, then you have only 50% to work with. So I try to explain something that I even can't explain in Swedish almost. But if you know what I mean, try it. It's actually important to know what you're doing. Your normal pressure you use on the stone is not actually something you just have learned by doing it for a while, and you don't really think about it so much. Maybe you do, but I didn't do it from the beginning. And then I start to experiment with the razor, and I'm gonna actually do some tests and see if I can see what I can do with the razor. So I thought, okay, let's do with force, with a lot of power to the stone, and I realized that, oh my God, it's actually grinding as hell on that razor. It worked really fast. I put the bevel on it really fast, and then I tried. I killed that edge and tried one more time and put it on the stone, same stone, and actually used no pressure at all. I took it so light as I could, and I have to work with it much more longer. But the result was the same. So I think it's important to know what you're doing, know when to use pressure, know when not to use pressure, and so on. If you get that's the reason why you got different kind of stones too, because if you have one kind of stone, you maybe have to use it much longer and use it with pressure and with slurry, and then go easier and use more different slurry. Then you can use same stone to do a lot of things with your razor. But if, like me, I use 3 types of stones, it's enough for me. I think it works for me. But if you maybe have a 5,000 grit stone and 8,000 grit stone, 10,000 grit stone, and maybe 12,000 grit stone, and then finished with a finishing stone, you got several more stones. Then you maybe have to use same pressure all the time through all these strokes and all these movements you do. But if, as I do, use less stones, you can actually experiment and do some different variations and get that stone to work as a more coarser stone and more finer stone, depending on the pressure on the stone. That's my experience. If there is someone else that are honing and think I'm talking rubbish, please tell me, because that's what I have thought when I learned to hone. In my experience, is that right? I don't know. It's maybe something I think. So please, if you think it's everything I say in these videos, if you think it's sounds crazy or sounds great, please contact me and talk to me and so on. Do a video about it. And what do you mean by this, Matti, when you say you use that stroke? And as you see, I don't use so many strokes. I use 2 types of strokes, and that's enough for me. This X stroke here, I use it on the whole, almost on the whole stone, and that's how I do it, and it works for me. Is it the best? I don't know, but it works for me. It's like shaving. Everyone does it differently. And honing, same thing. Everyone does it a little bit different. But the most important thing is have fun when you do it. If you think this is a course, then you have to do it. It's not fun. I do it because I think it's really fun to get this, as you saw, this dull razor, really dull razor, took it to the stones and then go to your arm somewhere here like that and see if it cuts. And as you can see, it takes off hair and put it on the razor there. I don't know if you can see it, but cat's hair. Now there's hair on the stone. I can't use that anymore. I have to clean it up. As you saw, it cuts on my arm at least and felt really nice. So I think this razor is ready to use. I'm gonna take off this tape here, just polishing it up a little bit so you can see this beautiful razor. As I told you, I bought this razor for 30 bucks, the 300 Swedish crowns, and it's a Bengall razor. You can see that. With hone scales, 5/8, I think it's maybe, yeah, I think it's 5/8. Square point, hollow grind, extra hollow grind, as it says here, extra hollow grind. The pin wasn't 100% when I hold it like this. The razor actually dropped, so I squeezed it a little bit with a hammer, pinned it a little bit more. There you got a beautiful razor, honed, freshly honed, and I hope this actually works really, really nice. We shall see when I use it next time in a video. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I hope I haven't mumbled too much. Have a great week, and we shall see you next time wherever it is. Bye for so long. Bye bye.